What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat. We are here today with Weekly Indie Newcomer, taking a look at Excalibur Games' Postmaster, which is a simulator in which you take control of a mail distribution company or a package delivery company like UPS or any of those other companies, and you actually start moving product around the city. Now, your goal is that there are going to be competitors in neighboring cities, and eventually you're going to end up on the street corners with bats and pipes and shorty shorts being like, "Where are you going, UPS? You ain't coming in my territory." But before that happens, you got to get everything set up. And so in today's episode, we're going to play the first few preliminary moments. I suppose that was a little redundant, but we're going to do the preliminary minutes of the game. There is a lot to cover, so unfortunately I may not be able to get to everything during this. Additionally, this isn't going to be so much a review as it's going to be a first impressions video, as there's a lot to swallow in this game. And unfortunately, I just don't seem to have the volume to get it all in. So I will talk about things as we go along. We'll try and get as much set up as we can, and we'll end it as, I suppose, dignified as possible. Let's go ahead and go to new game. We're going to start the game on medium. I've done the tutorial already. I already know how the game functions. I've played a couple hours on my own, but once again, unless I give a game like 6 to 8 hours, I really don't feel comfortable critiquing it or anything. So today, first impressions. It's all right. Just bear with me. We'll move on forward. First things first is now that the game has been put on medium, we have to come up with our name. And so, of course, we're going to be Splattercat. Hold on. There we go. I can type, I swear. My company? No, that won't work. Mailbag distribution. There we go. And then we've got to choose a logo, which I suppose none of these, I mean, these all kind of look like they would be used for like the Olympic Games in an overseas country somewhere. I don't know. These are the, don't they? They all look like the logo that you choose for the Olympics. I'm gonna go, I don't know, with that one. That one looks like the nipple on a Whoville hooker. So I guess it's just kind of jumping out at me. And then we've got to choose our company color. I'll go with green because I like things that are green. I mean, that's really, I enjoy the color green. It makes me feel peaceful. And if there's one thing I know about mail distribution, it's not that peaceful. People go postal all the time, just shooting fools up. And so here is the game. It's actually got kind of a pleasant appearance. I really like the graphical representation of the game. It reminds me of old like SimCity games in that it's 2D, but it's still kind of isometric at the same time. Everything's got depth, but they didn't decide to go with 3D graphics. Now the map is very, very large. If you take a look around, it lasts for quite some ways. You've got little highways that run in between all these little cities. We've got suburbs. We've got apartment buildings. We've got construction sites where nothing's been built yet. We've also got kind of these little industrial building areas where there's lots of business, or like business districts, I suppose, where things are going on. But beyond that, each one of these areas has its own mail delivery needs. And so if you go to, oh, I don't know, there's a tab over here somewhere that does this. I probably should have paid attention a little better. But anyways, if you click on this little tab right here, you can see the distribution demand for each location. You can see the letter demand. Let's go ahead and check all these. I actually don't know why these are all unchecked right now. But anyways, let's go to our mailroom, which is right here. You can't actually see it at the moment. It's hidden behind some buildings. But if we click on this right here, it'll be our first mail office. And so there's a couple things to look at here. You've got things you can buy. So every single one of these little locks is an unlockable piece of gear that makes your office better at what it's doing. So for example, if you've got like magazines and if you've got plants around, it makes your customers happier. It makes them less likely to throw their Slurpees at you. Things of that nature. You've got your guys right here who take customers and they take packages in. Then you've got your sorters over here on the right who take the packages and sort them as to where they need to go. You've got the post office information where you can look at some of the graphs and things as to the way that your post office is working, whether you're doing a good job, a terrible job, or in my case, no job at all. And the game is actually running right now, so I should probably pause it so that we're not wasting time here. It's only been 11 minutes, but you never know. We can also go to our garage where all of our delivery vehicles are. Now, there are 3 sizes with your post offices. There are small, medium, and large. The small post offices will only have, I think, like 3 vehicles, maybe 4. I think they have 4. The mediums have 8, and then the large ones have 12. And they also have different distribution ranges, so they can reach out into different areas. So the first thing that we need to do right now is we need to go and hire up some vehicles. Now, they start you off with 5 bonus stars. Up here at the top right corner, you'll see a number of pertinent informations laid out before you next to our magnanimously, I guess, oh, I don't know, our colorful nipple there, our multi-chromatic nipple logo. We've got $60,000 to start out with. We've got 5 bonus stars, and the bonus stars are used to unlock gear. So everything with a lock on it requires a bonus star in order to unlock. If you need more bonus stars, there are quests here, like these kind of missions that are available. As you do them, you will get more bonus stars that will allow you to unlock more cool stuff. Everything from raising the reputation of your company to hiring more workers to getting more vehicles. Basically, the sky is the limit. You really kind of start off at the bottom and work your way on up. And so the first thing I need to do is hire sorters. So we'll go through, and I'm actually just going to max out. The employees don't cost that much, so you may as well right up in the front. I'm only going to hire 2 customer service reps right now because you don't need that many. You want to keep an eye every now and again when you pop in on your post office. You'll see the lines right here, and if they start to get like out the door, that's probably a pretty good indicator that you should be hiring more people. Additionally, there are some other things, competition statistics right here. If you go to this little menu, it'll tell you all the areas that you are failing. These little bars right here, the one that we're failing at the most right now is our coverage fault because our company just isn't covering enough of the city. But we'll work on that in just a moment. Additionally, we've also got a post queue fault, which means that our post office staff is not high enough, and so hopefully we've handled that right now. Let's keep on trucking. We need to hire some vehicles as well, and we can do that. Wait, I hired people. How come? Hold on. I've hired people. How come I have not been given? Ah, there it is. So we've gotten ourselves 5 workers, so there's 3 bonus stars right there, which will allow us to buy new vehicles if we want to. We are kind of in the center of a large area with apartment buildings and whatnot. I think most of what we're going to be doing is letter delivery. We don't happen to have a whole lot of industrial. There's one right there, so we may get some extra. Basically, each of these areas does different things. So from apartment buildings, you're going to get tons of mail from, let's see here. There we go. So if you go to manage post offices, you can look at what each location is providing. If you see these little queues right here, that's packages, mail, and postcards. And so it appears as though just normal mail is going to be the #1 thing that we're going to have to deal with. And that's fine. We are the mail distribution services, the mailbag distribution services. So I think what we'll do for now is we're just going to try and cover as much of this area as we can. We've had the misfortune of a couple of parks in our area. You really want this to be densely populated with things that'll provide you with business. Unfortunately, parks just don't do that for you. Let's toggle that off. We'll go back. And I think what we're going to need, let me actually take a moment and count up. And this is kind of where a lot of the monotony of the game comes from. This is kind of, I won't say the game is monotonous, but this is definitely a game that's going to attract people that are into micromanaging stuff and making sure that supply lines are, like, I would actually say if you're into stuff like Europa Universalis and things like that, you might get a kick out of games like this. That would be the kind of archetype person I was. If you really like just managing a lot of little things and kind of getting your hands dirty, just digging way elbow deep inside a game, that's kind of what I would say would attract you to this. But anyways, we've got what looks like 3, 7, we've got 12, and we've got 17, it looks like, in our distribution network right now. And so we want that addition to come out properly. So given that we have 17, let's go ahead and go back to our post office, and we're going to go to our garage. And the first thing we're going to do is hire some vehicles. Now, we've got 8 bonus stars, and I think it's going to benefit us. This can hit 10. We want it to be divisible. So 8, I think, is going to be about as close as we can get to being divisible. So each of your cars has a number of stats that you want to talk about. You start out with the bicycle. The bicycle is pretty terrible. You're probably not going to use too many of them, except for maybe... Oh, every now and again there will be missions that pop up where it's like, this is a priority package that needs to go somewhere. The bikes are good for that because you can just send him out and he just goes and does it, and that's that. It doesn't cost a lot of money to upkeep. For now, I think we're going to unlock the standard car and we're going to unlock the motorbike. So there it is. We've unlocked both of those. And so the stats that are underneath, what are these? Well, that's how much of their capacity can be taken up by packages. They've got their fuel efficiency, I'm sorry, their speed, their fuel efficiency. They've also got how many squares they can service, so their range. When I was counting those up right there, that's because I was trying to get the range divisible by the number that I needed. How much it costs to purchase one of those vehicles, and how many bonus stars it takes to unlock them. So first things first, let's jump on in. I'm going to hire a couple of these big bad vehicles right here. Let's go 2 of these guys because we've got 17 to service, and so I think 16 will get us close. We can either hire 3 of the motorcycles or 2 of these, and I think 2 of these is going to serve us a little bit better. And then once we've got these vehicles right here, they're not actually working on any type of shift. What they've got is a little question mark right here, and you've got to assign all of their stuff. And so, as I said, lots of micromanagement in this game. We go to change vehicle type, and so there are a number of vehicle types. We have letter delivery. We've got post box collector. We don't have any post box, so we don't need to worry about that just yet. We've got packet delivery. We've got packet collection. And we've got post transfer. Now, packet collection means we go to a place and we get their packets, and then delivery means that we deliver them to other locations. Obviously, pretty self-explanatory right there. There's different types of mail, though, and so if we go back to our mail management menu here, these are packets. This little box right here, it's basically just like little crates of stuff or package deliveries. They call them packets. I think in the US we would more than likely call them packages. Kind of a minor nomenclature difference right there, but really sort of the same thing. The middle one right there is mail delivery, just general mail delivery. It goes out with postcards, and so these 2 are kind of all encompassed in the same thing. So if you put somebody on mail duty, they'll collect these 2 right here, but they won't collect packets. So that's why you need packet collection and packet sendouts at the same time. Let's jump back in, and we'll assign some territory to some of these vehicles. So we go to the change vehicle type. I'm going to call him a general letter delivery. The second thing we need to do is we need to give him a path. And so I'm just going to start at the bottom. Oh, I didn't subtract. So we should be able to hit everything. We're actually doing a little bit better than I expected. And we're just going to click the areas that he's able to cover on his daily route. And so there it is. Done a little bit better. Let me recount one more time. So we've got 3, 7, we've got 12, and 17. Maybe I did count them properly. I may be completely and totally addled here. I think I did count them okay. It'll be alright. Whatever, and then we'll go back. He's now been assigned to a route, but he has no task, so we go down to the task right here. This is where we assign his shift, so his duty time. My duty time doesn't necessarily fall between 8 and 1600. My duty time is a little bit more variable. I blame that on my bowels, but his duty time is going to start instantly, like right this second. Not a lot of people could do that on command, but you know what? His duty time, right this second. So there it is. Duty time has been started. Over here on this side, we're going to have him do the same thing, and we're going to assign his path to be everything that hasn't been covered up here. And so it looks like we need yeah, okay, so we came one short. That's fine. We're going to leave this one unserviced right here, and then we'll deal with it in just a moment. Maybe if our couriers are a little bit too slow, you want to avoid sending too many people out to too many different spots because they get behind in their queue, but they can cover the maximum range if you allow them to do so. If we see people falling behind or we have a bunch of stuff lined up in the future, what we'll do is we'll have motorbikes pick up the slack there. And then we're going to have his duty time start right this second as well. Now, the second thing we want to do is we want to go, I don't know, package delivery is really lucrative. If you go over to your price tag thing right here, you can see what the prices are that you're charging for everything. The packets are really expensive to move around, or express packets can be expensive too. It's a good way to make a lot of money, and honestly, one of the big roadblocks that I've run into in this game pretty consistently is that once you spend up all your money, you spend a lot of time just sitting around waiting for the money to come in. Kind of a weird second nature thing that happened, but you can change your prices here. It's a bad idea. Don't do it. Just leave your prices alone until your opponent makes his move. Once your competitor starts moving their prices around, then you can start price matching and messing around with them, kind of screwing with their life. But as of right now, you have no competition, so leave things where they are because it will come back to bite you in the ass. Now, we've got those two vehicles in there. Let's go ahead and start time off a little bit. We'll go with fast. And what you will notice is that once we open on up, let me unpause the game, you'll see that time is now moving along slowly. And you will see there's our little vehicle right there, trucking around town, grabbing all the little packages that he wants to grab. I mean, they really do have, our company is all about grabbing that mailbag. So if we can grab as much mailbag as possible before the end of the day, I feel as though we will have done a good job. And I'm kind of wondering how much double entendre we can kind of throw into one episode. I really do feel as though I could do a good job with it. Now, we're not completely and totally doing everything that we need to do. We should probably put down some courier boxes as well, so we can put down these little mailboxes that people can drop stuff off in, and that keeps them out of our office, and it also keeps us from having to go grab their deliveries. I'm gonna go ahead and put some of them in. So there it is right there. They're not very expensive, so you may as well jump in and put in as many of these as you can. And we're going to leave it one short, as always, because I want to keep things as efficient as possible, only buying the cars that can cover the things we need to cover. And so now we've installed mailboxes everywhere, so people can just drop their stuff off, and then we can have mail couriers come and get it. Now, there are some interesting statistics for each of these locations. You've got post boxes, you've got postcards. In fact, let's go ahead and manage this right here. And there's a certain... Let's see. I'm missing it at the moment. But there is a certain thing that you can do that will tell you what the actual supply and demand is for each location, so that you can look and see which locations don't have enough stuff. For now, let me hire a security guard too, because for whatever reason, the burglars in this game are all about just you know where we should rob? Let's rob a post office, because clearly stealing the $6.50 out of somebody's grandma's birthday card is definitely gonna make us rich. I don't know who it was that decided to rob the post office, but in this game, robbing the post office is all the rage, and so you've got to have a security guard right there, otherwise you get robbed all the time. Now, we need to buy more vehicles. I'm going to buy 2 more cars. There they are right there. We're going to assign them to post box collection. Oop, I don't want to sell the vehicle. They're both going to do the same thing. And we're going to add their path. It's going to be just like so. And their job is just going to be to grab all the packages out of these little mailboxes that are right here. And so as you can see on this is what I was talking about. So if I mouse over a location, you can see how many packets on average they produce a day, how much mail on average they produce during a day, their postcard producage, the left is how much they produce during the day, the right side is how much is on standby, how much we haven't grabbed yet. And so the actual demand, I think, is just the average on how much they really, really need you to show up every day. That's how many, packages they have on average per day. But anyways, I think it's their capacity. I did that wrong. So the left side is the capacity, the right side is how many they have in standby right now, and the bottom number, the actual demand, is the average amount of packages that they're going to have waiting for you each day, I think. But anyways, the tutorial is very, very wordy for this game. In fact, the tutorial is enormous. It'll take you a good probably 45 minutes just to work your way through the tutorial, because there's a lot of stuff that they want to cover, and so I need to add his path now. And so there it is, not to waste too much time. The path has been selected, and so now they should be out grabbing as many of these extra little post boxes around as possible. The things that you want to get in the future, and so now you can see that we do have a lot of throughput going around. The top one is how much we have waiting from customers. So if we look, we've got people in line right here. We've now got nobody in line. If we go back one more time, the one underneath that is how many objects are waiting for the sorter to get done. And you can see you get big influxes right there as people run around and grab your mail. Do we have maximum sorters? We do. We have maximum sorters, so there's nothing we can do about that number. They will sort through it. And then you've got the packages waiting for delivery. And so this is why I like to have cars instead of motorcycles, is because you very, very rapidly have a massive backlog of stuff that needs to be delivered. And unfortunately, this one right here is waiting for delivery. So we have a lot of mail waiting around. As the cars come back, what you'll see is that number will drop off pretty quickly. Or at least it should. There it goes. And so they'll alternate between going out to deliver stuff and grabbing stuff from the various locations. And so it should all be perfectly fine. If we wanted to look at how we're doing, we can look at our competition statistics right here. This is how much mail we've delivered. Our received packages versus our delivered packages. Our opponent is doing a little bit better right now. That's to be expected. In the early game, they tend to do a lot better than you, and then you will rapidly outlap them as you start to develop your services and get things where you want them to go. We've also unlocked some more stuff. We've got 3 vehicles, so let's get our free bonus stars. I think pretty shortly we should get our reputation up as well. If we wanted to look at how we're doing on our reputation, we can look at these graphs. There's a wide selection of graphs that will allow you to plot out how you're doing over the course of your day. Our expenses are really bad right now because we're obviously starting up a business, so that's part of starting up a business. You have lots of expenditures. Now the thing that I would like to do is let's go to our garage, and I'm going to hire somebody for priority packages, although I want to plan this out very, very carefully, because sometimes what can happen is you can end up with areas that aren't being serviced, like this little corner over here, without anything working out for you. So let's hire a motorcycle for our priority deliveries. So there we are. We have 1 motorcycle, and we're going to assign him to this job down here, priority delivery. That means somebody can call us up and be like, hey, I need this to go here to here right this second. Basically a courier service. And he's just going to sit and stand by. You're not going to have to, I said stand by, but stand by is what I was talking about. Stand by is one of those things that I think a carpenter might practice when he's got too much work in front of him. But anyways, he just sits here and stand by, and until we get a priority package, he's not going to do anything. He's just going to hang out and wait for something good to happen. Which might seem like a waste of time, but it actually is a good thing to have on hand, because priority packages, they pay a ton of money, as in you can get $700, $800 from delivering just one of them. Now this area has a lot of rural space, which is disappointing. It looks as though he has set up... Okay, so he's got a bunch of bikes running around. That's fine. I think we should be able to outdo him pretty quickly. Yeah, we're catching up slowly, so we should take him out pretty quickly. And then our service coverage, if you take a look, has dropped. It's now 94% instead of 99%, so we're doing a pretty good job right there. We've also done another mission, so let's see if we could find that. 500 reputation. So now we've got 6 bonus stars ready to go. I think what I'd like to do now is let's look into the possibility of, if we go to manage post offices, we can buy new post offices, and these ones are pretty advantageously positioned. Let's see, with a small one we could cover all of that right there. A medium I think would probably do us better, but that's a little bit expensive, so instead I think the second post office we're going to buy is going to be in this little industrial district. I would do a small one right here because it's going to give us the perfect needs, and it'll allow us, I think we can pretty much canvas this entire area with like 2 bicycles. So let's buy a small one. It's going to be $17,000, which is going to cost us a bit of money, but I think it'll be alright. So let's get down in here, and let's set up, we want to link these together as well. So you see this little thing right here? That's because they're unlinked, and so what we need is we need deliveries in between the 2, but we'll deal with that in just a minute. Let's slow down the gameplay for now before we go ahead and link our post offices. We need to set him up with a security guard. We'll give him his 2 sorters. So as you can see, this one is a bit more provincial. It's a bit less well stocked than our other one. You don't have quite as many employees. So we'll hire our employees. We'll go back in here. I think if we buy, the bike can cover 4. So I think 1 bike can cover all of our mail delivery down here. And so we'll have him start instantaneously, and then we'll also set up his path. Bam, bam, and bam. That's all we need, is we need 1 bike to do our mail intake from here. The other thing I would do is maybe get a motorcycle to possibly do... Well, let's have a look. The other thing that I would do is possibly have a motorcycle to do package delivery. I mean, they cost a little bit more, but they've got more volume. A bike can't carry around a lot of packages. Neither can a motorcycle, but doing the best with what we have here. And so we'll have package collector for him. His path will be these 3. And then we'll start him off right this second. We have package delivery. I don't think we're necessarily going to need a whole lot of. So there we'll go package delivery. We'll get him couriered up, and then we'll start his shift. The final thing that we're going to have is we need a bike to link our locations. So let's see. We need to go to our linkage menu. And I don't necessarily remember how this works. It's been a while since I've done this. I think what you do is you hire a vehicle. And I think it would be best to do a car right now. And then he's going to be a post-transfer. There it is. And so we're going to have him go instantly because we want him to carry a lot of volume. And so then what you can do is you can link these 2 locations like so. There we go. And so now the 2 locations have been linked. And so that means they'll actually transfer mail in between these 2 locations. That car's only job is to grab mail from here and go back and forth and make sure that we have a nice flow of packets in between our entire region. He does have an extra vehicle available, but we're going to save that for the future, just in case we need it for something else. And so now it seems like we're just about tapped out on cash, and so we've reached that appropriate point where we just hang out and wait for good things to happen. Do we have anything else flickering at me? Nope. And so now we just get to wait. So let's speed the game on up. And as it plays, we'll keep an eye on our cash situation. You want to start generating about $1,000 a day if you can. The days do go by pretty slowly. They start at 8 a.m. and they end, I think, at 5 o'clock. So 1700, it seems like, when everything just kind of dies on you and nothing good happens anymore. We should be okay. Yeah, it looks like we're making money hand over fist right now. So we should be pretty lucrative, I think. Let's take a look at our competition stats. He looks like he's gotten a little bit of a head start on us. We've got a post-queue fault. It says that we need more customer service staff. That's a little bit disappointing. And so as you can see, if you look in the background now, nothing is happening. There's no hubbub or buzz of anything occurring. What has now happened is we've actually reached the end of our workday. And so this really confused me the first time it happened. I was like, what the hell? And this is one of my few complaints. You see these construction zones down here? They finally finished off. And that's actually inside my service range. So we will have to figure out something to pick up these extra routes. I think what we could do is we could either have a bike courier do it, because we've got 3. We've got 1, 2, and then 3 up here in the corner. I think he could pick up those 3 routes, and then we won't have any problem there. But anyways, this is one of the few critiques that I would have, is the after hours is like really long and drawn out. I think if you have the game on maximum speed, it forces you to sit from 1700 to 2400, and you just kind of sit here until something happens. I think the game should probably just skip from the end of the day to the morning of the next day and let you know that if anybody tried to vandalize or burglarize your buildings and if your security stopped them, if indeed they did, then you saved yourself a little bit of time. From what I can tell, it's only like a 50-second to like a 1.5 minute wait to get from one day to the next. And it does provide you with a nice little slow period in which to arrange things if you haven't done it yet for the next day. You can get some extra kind of managerial work done between point A and point B, but on the side effect for me, I'm kind of one of those people that gets infuriated that people take like 10-minute turn 1s in Hearthstone. So I'm one of those people that's like, now, let's go faster, if you feel me. So anyways, if you feel me on that, that's fine. You can feel me all you want, just don't feel too much. I'm a little bit bruised today. I don't want it to hurt too much. But we're going to wait for the next day to start. When you get to midnight, it'll magically teleport you to, I think, an hour before business starts for the next day. And then we'll talk about some of the things that we need to handle in the long haul. So for the long haul, you want to handle your distribution. In fact, we could probably talk about it right now. One of the reasons that we may have trouble with our opponent is because we've started out with a better position than he has, for sure. He started up against a wall right here, which is going to kind of deprive him of a lot of service area. Luckily, oh, maybe it doesn't jump. Maybe it's at 1 a.m. that it jumps. Interesting. Well, it doesn't appear to allow us to jump. So anyways, as I was saying, it's a little bit boring waiting for the next day to start. We've got a lot of stuff to do right now for the next day. I don't think we can hire... Oh, we can. We can hire some more customer service staff. So let's go a third one right there. And we'll see if during the next day our competition statistics go down. Okay, it did. It already went down. Or no, never mind. It's still at 6%. Okay, well, not so great. We've lowered our coverage, though, by quite a bit. So we're missing out on 10,000 packages. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, but we're still covering a large municipal city area. A residential area is definitely being covered right now, so please let me go to the next day. So anyways, yeah, you sit here from 7 o'clock at night to, I thought you got done at 4 in the morning, or, God. Wow, you really like to sit here for quite a while before you get to play your next day. So yeah, that would be the one thing I would change, is maybe just teleport you a little bit earlier. I mean, I understand that they're trying to force you to kind of micromanage things, but I pause the game when I need to do that, so micromanaging gets done sort of in an instant for me when I micromanage everything. I guess that's that. We'll just sit here and wait for the next day to start. I think we start at, let me see, what are my hours on these things? You start at 8 a.m., so we've got a little bit of time left to go. But yeah, my one critique is I don't like sitting around and waiting all night for things to happen. I think it's probably the differential between people who like to do stuff while the game is running and people that like to pause the game. I'm the kind of person that pauses the game while I do all my micromanagement stuff, so then I end up with these big dry periods where I just don't do anything during the nighttime. So the second this is back up and running, we should see, I don't know when our payroll goes out either, but it looks like we've lost a little bit of money. I think the payroll might actually be active. It might just kind of go along as you play. And so our service day has started. You will see that our money is now starting to tick back up. And so I think I've just about shown off. I mean, this is basically how the whole game goes. You can kind of develop things a little bit better. And what I mean by that is you can upgrade the post offices you have. We could potentially build another one over here once we've accumulated enough cash. But for now, we're kind of just waiting on good things to happen to us. It looks like they got a jump start on us somehow. It might have been, I don't know. They got a jump start on us somehow. I mean, you can't really spy on their business practices down here. And if you find yourself in a slump, you can do some kind of ulterior tactics. You can advertise, so basically you can hand out like pamphlets and things like that, but it does cost you stars, so be careful. They do give you pretty good numbers on what you're going to get out on all this stuff. You get a yield percentage upgrade right there, which is pretty nice. At the moment, it may just be because our reputation isn't high enough. If you take a look at your graphs over here, your reputation sort of dictates how much business you get in a given service area. And we are making money right now, so it looks like we've made about, I think we were at like 3,800, so we've made about 2 grand today, and it's only 12 o'clock. If you can get yourself up to making like 5 to 6 grand a day, you can really start expanding just willy-nilly, just kind of willy to the wind. But anyways, this game is called Postmaster. If you haven't checked it out, I'll put all the information down below in the information in the description. I'm not going to do a pros and cons for this because I don't feel like I've played it long enough to really render into Caesar what is Caesar's, you know what I mean? I don't really feel like I could do this game fair justice. It is a little bit slow, but it's going to be one of those games for people that really like to manage stuff and fiddle with things. So the game is Postmaster. It's made by Excalibur Games. My name is Splattercat. If you enjoyed this episode of Weekly Indie Newcomer, look down below for all the information on the game. You can play it there. I believe the game is $19.99 right now. I didn't check on the pricing because I got it for free. The developers sent it to me because they're wonderful guys. They are actually really, really nice guys. They've offered to send me all kinds of free games, which makes me just all kinds of happy. But I'll see you guys in the next episode of Weekly Indie Newcomer. We'll have it up every single Friday. Take care out there, everybody, and I will see you next time.